Thanks for tuning in. This is Seth Peek with Peek Realty, the Peek team here on the Central Coast of California. Today talking about the 5 things that will cause you as a seller to lose money and or stress you out. Stay tuned. Okay, so the 5 things that will cause you as a seller to possibly lose money and or create stress. Number 1 is overpricing or underpricing the sale of your home. Number 2 is neglecting necessary and often easy to fix home improvement problems. Number 3 is inadequate marketing during the listing of your home. Number 4 is not staging and or decluttering both the inside of your home and the property your home sits on. And number 5 is failing to disclose issues known. So let's dive right in. So the pricing of your home is very important. It's no surprise to anybody. A realtor can give you a CMA, comparative market analysis of your home, to give you a ballpark idea of what your home should sell for. Now, often we have clients that will overprice their home or inflate the value of their home. Number 1, for sentimentality. Number 2, because a house on the block that looks the same or is the same neighborhood as the house that they're selling sold for X amount of dollars, so my house should sell for that higher dollar amount. That's not how it works. Number 1 is you're going to be more stressed if you're looking to sell the home and it sits on the market longer. If it's overpriced, the stress level is going to be there. And number 2, if it's overpriced, eventually, most likely, it's going to sell for what it's worth. So it's better just to list the house for what the comparative market analysis of the house is. Now, also, if you're looking to sell the house quickly, which I don't recommend, if you're cash tight and you need to get out of the house as quickly as possible and you underprice the house in order to sell it faster, you will lose money. I mean, that's plain and simple. And it sounds like you're already stressed as it is. So it's better to price the house accurately and let the market dictate how fast it sells. So number 2 that will create undue stress and lose money on the sale of your home is neglecting necessary home repairs. These home repairs can be also seen as home improvements. So that way, if a buyer is coming to see the house, they can tell that this house is cared for, there's nothing that is faulty, and no major issues that have to be solved. I'm not talking about fixing a faulty foundation, or I'm not even talking about re-siding the house. But if you have a couple rotted fascia boards, you can hire a carpenter for a couple $200-300 to switch out a couple fascia boards. Touch up paint on your own. Go buy a paintbrush at Home Depot, some trim paint. Touch up the door jambs, the baseboard, and the high traffic areas of the house. There's lots of things you can do to make the house look less lived in and make it look more appealing. Also, door handles, things that people touch when they come into the home. Light switches. If they're outdated and faded, light switches are a cheap fix. Having electrician or handyman come in and change out for newer modern light switches. Just small things like that that can make your house look a lot more appealing. Improvements. Neglecting home improvements is a number 2 on the list, creating more stress and losing money in the long run. Number 3 is a biggie for getting your house sold at the right price, and that's inadequate marketing. A lot of people, they have their house listed on the MLS. They get some decent photos taken with an iPhone, some weird angles in the house, not a lot of creativity in the photography. It goes up there, it has a listing description, and then it sits on the MLS. What's missing? Well, let's see. There's videos missing, there's flyers missing, there's creative open houses missing, there's just attention-grabbing social media posts missing. There's so many things that are missing from this marketing. Put it this way, a lot is missing. You want your house to be popped off on every channel imaginable. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, emails to realtors in the area. You want it to go to Facebook groups in outside communities. Like, say for instance, Central Coast, California, a lot of our buyers are Fresno, Bakersfield. Advertise on the channels over there for a beach house in Cayucas. Get creative with how that listing is marketed, and you're definitely sure to grow your pool of buyers that way. Number 4 is not staging or decluttering the inside of the home, and not cleaning up the yard, decluttering the yard, or even simply putting mulch in the garden beds. This is something that is sweat equity. You, the seller, do not have to pay anybody to do any of that. Unless you are physically unable to do it, Decluttering your house is as simple as, let's say, lay it out like this. A month before your house is ready to be listed for sale, get 6 Tupperware, 6, 7, 10 Tupperwares from Home Depot or Big Lots or wherever, and spend 1 hour every other day just putting unnecessary items that you use maybe on once a year, once a quarter basis into these Tupperware and label them and put them in a neat area in the garage or in one of the closets. What you're doing is you're going through the house and you're taking all the little bric-a-brac, you're taking the toiletries that you don't use all the time out of the medicine cabinet, you're taking everything that's just lying around the home that you don't think about, and you're compartmentalizing it, not to be forgotten, but just so it's not in plain view and making the house look cluttered when you're looking to sell it. Staging can be easy too. If you're not going to be outside the home, say if you're occupying the home still, you can declutter your house using the bin method with the Rubbermaid containers, and then situate your furniture in a more welcoming manner. Not everybody's house is situated in a welcoming manner. I find that most people's living rooms are set up to watch TV only. That's the sole purpose of their furniture in their living room. But there's other ways you can organize the furniture so it's more appealing. So this goes the same for the outside of the home. You know, if your yard is overgrown, weeds, spend some time. Get a weed whacker. Buy a $200 weed whacker at Home Depot and do your own chores for the day. Get the weeds knocked down. Get your garden beds. Buy a couple bags of mulch here and there and spread it around. I mean, it's simple. It sounds really trite, but it's the little things like that just to make everything look pop. It's gonna pay off dividends in the end in terms of no red flags for buyers when they come to look at a yard. If you can do anything to make a buyer not go, ugh, this looks like work, then you're gonna win. It's just gonna happen. It's not gonna get you monumental amounts of extra dollars, but it's gonna be less of a negotiating tactic. If everything they see looks neat and tidy, it's less of a red flag for them. Now, if you're not occupying the house, say the house is empty and you want real top dollar for your home, a few $1,000s goes a long way with a professional stager. I'm not saying it has to look like West Elm inside your home, but it should be appointed well enough to someone can expect how it's going to look like when they live in the house. You know, there's nothing worse than going to an empty house that looks drab, it looks empty, it looks spacious, and it's not a cheap home. You know, if a house is going for a large amount of money, like over $800,000, a couple thousand, $2,000, $3,000 to stage with some simple furniture and some things on the wall goes a really, really long way for a buyer to be able to imagine themselves in the space. So number 4 is a huge one, and I talk about it more often than others sometimes. This one in marketing is definitely decluttering, organizing your personal possessions so that when buyers come, they're not just looking at your junk lying everywhere. Staging your home with your own furniture, or if it's unoccupied, staging it with the help of a professional. Oh yeah, and don't forget to weed whack. Please weed whack. Number 5 is big one, and it's also the legal one. Disclose issues. If you know there was a problem with your home that was fixed, there's a problem now, or you suspect that there is a problem and someone's going to find out about it, you need to disclose that to the buyers. If it becomes known that you knew about it and did not disclose it, this could be a big legal headache for you down the road. So please disclose everything when you're listing the home, period. Okay, so now we've gone over 5 things that you should consider in order to get top dollar and reduce stress in the sale of your home. And by all means, these aren't the only 5, but these are definitely 5 of the biggest ones. Number 1 is make sure you're pricing it correctly. So you're not overpricing it, letting it sit on the market too long. You're not underpricing it, losing money. And most of all, you're not stressed about it. Number 2 is you're not completing these home improvement projects and these home repairs that are going to be red flags to any buyer. Get them done. Use some sweat equity. Get the little things fixed. Touch up the paint. Fix some doorknobs. Grease some hinges. Bada bing, bada boom. Number 3 is inadequate marketing. If your agent's not going above and beyond and multiplying the efforts of your listing through multiple channels in multiple areas, then you're being underserved. Okay, number 4, not staging interior and exterior of your home. Exterior should be cleaned up, weed whack. Remember, weed whack. If you got weeds, whack those weeds. If you got mulch, you got an area for mulch, put it down. You just blow off the driveway. Make sure it's always swept clean. Your yard looks immaculate the entire time your house is listed. Inside, stage your furniture. Compartmentalize your personal possessions. Don't leave your junk lying around. Stage your furniture so it looks less like a frat house and more like a welcoming environment to have a cocktail party. If your house is empty, hire a stager. Simple as that. A little bit of money goes a long way. And number 5 is failing to disclose issues. Disclose issues. Let me say it again. Disclose everything. It will be found out and it will ruin your deal if you do not disclose issues right now. I'm Seth Peek with the Peek Team, helping you live wonderfully on the Central Coast. For more information, please visit thepeekteam.com. That's Peek, P-E-E-K, thepeekteam.com for your free home evaluation with our Homebot software, and be hooked up on Homebot also for buyers till we can find you the perfect home using our AI software.